You ever sit alone at night, staring at the ceiling, feeling that burning pain of not being where you should be? That quiet voice in your head that whispers, "You could have been more, you could have done more." That voice is not your enemy. It's the truth trying to wake you up. Life doesn't reward the almosts, the maybes, or the excuses. It rewards those who lock in, who focus on one thing, winning. Every second you waste doubting yourself, someone else is out there building, training, pushing, and preparing to take what could have been yours. You can't afford distractions. They kill dreams silently. Every great man you've ever admired had one thing in common: unbreakable focus. They didn't let emotions, failures, or people's opinions steer them away from the mission. The world only respects results, not potential. Nobody claps for the man who tried. They remember the one who won. If you want peace, power, and pride, stop chasing everything. Chase the win. Make it your obsession, your heartbeat, your purpose. Winning requires absolute mental focus. Cut out all distractions. Every person who has ever reached the top of anything will tell you one truth. It wasn't talent that made them unstoppable. It was focus. The kind of focus that borders on obsession. The kind that makes you forget about comfort, forget about noise, forget about every meaningless distraction that drags most people down. The reason most never win is simple. They allow the world to scatter their attention. They start the day with a goal and end it buried in notifications, gossip, comparison, and comfort. Focus is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. You can't win a war if your attention is divided. You can't build an empire while scrolling, doubting, or chasing validation. The mind is a weapon, but only when it's sharp and every distraction dulls the blade. You have to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Every time you waste it, a piece of your potential dies quietly, unnoticed. People fail not because they are incapable, but because they never learn to control where their energy goes. You need to understand something powerful. Life will constantly test your ability to stay focused. There will always be something trying to pull you away from the mission, comfort, entertainment, people who don't understand your vision. But the winners are ruthless about saying no. They guard their time like a king guards his crown. They wake up with purpose, move with intention, and refuse to let anything or anyone drain their energy. If you want to win, you must treat focus as your most valuable currency. Because it is. You can lose money and make it back, but lose focus, and you lose momentum, direction, and time you'll never get again. The reason most people stay average isn't because they lack opportunities. It's because they're distracted when opportunities arrive. They're too busy doing meaningless things, thinking small, letting the trivial consume the significant. Winning demands tunnel vision. It means you see the goal and block everything else out. No gossip, no drama, no wasted motion, just pure execution. People won't understand you when you start cutting distractions. They'll say you've changed, that you've become distant. Good, let them talk. You're not here to please anyone. You're here to win. The noise of the crowd has never built a champion. Champions are made in silence, in isolation, in the long nights when everyone else is sleeping and you're still locked in, grinding toward the goal. Focus means sacrifice. You can't have it all. You must decide what matters. If you want to win, you'll have to let go of the temporary pleasures that most chase daily. You'll have to let go of mindless entertainment, comfort zones, and people who drain your energy with small talk and negativity. It's not cruelty, it's discipline. You cannot build something great while feeding every craving your mind throws at you. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you say no to your destiny. That's the trade-off. You either focus on winning or you focus on wasting time. You cannot do both. Success requires undivided attention. You have to lock in so deeply that the noise fades away. You have to become so obsessed with your goal that distractions don't even tempt you anymore. That's when you reach a different level of power, the level where your vision becomes your oxygen. Focus is built, not gifted. It comes from training your mind daily, disciplining your attention, and controlling your emotions. It means being aware of what truly matters and cutting the rest. You'll feel bored sometimes, lonely often, and misunderstood almost always. But that's the price of greatness. Every winner has walked that road. You can't stay around average people and expect an extraordinary mindset. If your circle doesn't push you toward focus, it's pushing you toward failure. You need to be around energy that aligns with your purpose, not distracts from it. When your environment is full of noise, your mind can't think clearly. Clean your space, clean your schedule, and clean your circle, because chaos kills focus. There will be days when you'll want to give up, when you'll feel like the sacrifices aren't worth it, when distractions look more tempting than discipline. That's where real focus is tested. Most people quit right there because their mind isn't trained to stay locked in when it's hard. Winners, though, they use pain as fuel. They turn every doubt into determination. They keep their eyes on the finish line no matter how far it seems. Focus isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing which part of reality you give your energy to. Every minute spent worrying, comparing, or scrolling is a minute stolen from your mission. Protect your attention like gold. It's the foundation of every victory. Your phone, your comfort, your habits, all of them can be enemies if you don't control them. Technology has made distraction the new addiction. But here's the truth: the stronger your purpose, the weaker the distraction becomes. Once you decide who you are and what you're chasing, everything else becomes background noise. Winners don't chase dopamine, they chase dominance. They don't seek comfort, they seek clarity. They train their mind to focus so hard that even chaos can't shake them. When your focus sharpens, your energy rises. You stop moving like everyone else. You stop wasting time proving your worth to people who don't matter. You become dangerous because you move with precision. Every step, every thought, every decision becomes a weapon aimed at one thing: winning. And that's when life begins to bend in your favor. Focus gives you control. Control gives you power. Power brings results. That's the formula the greats live by. So cut the noise. Turn off the distractions. Distance yourself from anything that weakens your drive. There's a level of success waiting for you that requires your full attention. Stop scattering your energy across meaningless things. Lock in. Focus until the world fades away and only your goal remains. Because once you master focus, winning isn't just possible, it becomes inevitable. Pain and discipline are the prices of success. Comfort kills growth. Every great life, every powerful story, every legend you've ever admired was forged in pain. Not in moments of ease or joy, but in days of struggle, failure, and sacrifice. The world sells comfort like it's happiness, but comfort is a trap. It keeps you soft, distracted, and average. The truth no one wants to face is that pain is the ticket to everything worth having. You can't rise without it. You can't lead without it. You can't become great without walking through the fire. Discipline and pain are the gatekeepers to success, and most people never make it through because they run the moment it hurts. They want the reward, not the responsibility. They want the glory, not the grind. But winning doesn't work like that. You can't skip the suffering and expect strength. Every time you avoid discomfort, you choose to remain weak. Every time you give in to laziness, you trade your potential for temporary pleasure. Growth never comes from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's necessary, especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's waking up when your body screams for rest. It's showing up when your emotions tell you to quit. It's keeping your word to yourself even when no one is watching. The disciplined man is dangerous because he's not controlled by feelings. He's controlled by purpose. Discipline builds power, and power builds freedom. Without it, you'll always be a slave to your impulses. You'll chase comfort, and comfort will betray you. Because comfort doesn't care about your dreams. It only cares about keeping you safe, small, and predictable. It whispers, "You've done enough. Rest now," when the truth is you've barely started. It tells you to take it easy when your potential is begging for more. Pain, on the other hand, is honest. It doesn't lie to you. Pain tells you where you're weak. It exposes your limits so you can break them. Every time you push through pain, you gain strength that no one can take away. Pain teaches patience, resilience, and hunger. It strips away excuses and forces you to look at who you really are. Most people never reach their greatness because they spend their lives running from the very thing designed to shape them. They pray for easy days when what they need are hard ones. Because hard days make you disciplined. And discipline over time makes you unstoppable. If you want to become exceptional, you have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Growth lives on the other side of resistance. Every time you lift a weight that feels too heavy, every time you face rejection but still move forward, every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are transforming. Pain is not punishment, it's preparation. It's life molding you into someone capable of carrying the success you're asking for. Without it, even if you achieve your dreams, you won't have the strength to keep them. Pain makes you ready. Comfort, though, is seductive. It feels good in the moment, but robs you in the long run. It dulls your hunger. It silences your ambition. It tricks you into thinking you're okay where you are when you were made for more. Comfort is where dreams die slowly. You sit in the same place, doing the same things, telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into years, and years turn into regret. The people who win are not the ones who have it easy. They're the ones who choose pain with purpose. They train when no one is watching. They work when they're tired. They push through fear, failure, and doubt because they understand one truth: pain is temporary, but regret lasts forever. Discipline is what separates the talkers from the doers. It's not glamorous, and it's not fun, but it's the foundation of every victory. You can have talent, intelligence, or charm, but without discipline, it all crumbles. Discipline gives structure to your ambition. It turns motivation into momentum. It's what makes you move when inspiration disappears. Because motivation fades, but discipline remains. It's the voice inside that says, keep going, when everything else says stop. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. The one who stays disciplined long enough always wins. Always. Pain is the test life gives to measure how badly you want it. If you can suffer without quitting, endure without complaining, and stay disciplined under pressure, you're already ahead of 99% of people. Pain doesn't destroy you. It refines you. Every struggle adds another layer of strength, another level of self-respect. The reason most people never become who they're meant to be is because they quit the moment it hurts. But those who endure the pain rise with power. You can't fake that. You can't buy it. You have to earn it through consistency, sacrifice, and unshakable discipline. When you stop fearing pain and start embracing it, everything changes. You stop running from challenges and start hunting them. You begin to see discomfort as proof that you're growing. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to get better, stronger, and wiser. Life will hit you. It's supposed to. But when you're disciplined, you don't crumble. You adjust, adapt, and continue moving forward. That's what separates the average from the elite. The elite don't seek comfort, they seek growth. They know that every victory costs something, and they're willing to pay the price in full. Pain and discipline build character, and character builds success. The easy path will never lead you to greatness. If you want to live an extraordinary life, you must do what ordinary people refuse to do. You must choose pain over pleasure, discipline over distraction, progress over comfort. Every day you show up, every day you push through, every day you stay committed. You're proving to yourself that you can't be broken. And that's the real win. Because once you master pain and discipline, the world can throw anything at you and you'll still stand tall. So stop avoiding the struggle. Stop chasing comfort. Comfort is the enemy of growth, the silent killer of dreams. Seek the pain that builds you. Seek the discipline that strengthens you. Push yourself when it's hard, when you're tired, when no one's clapping. That's where greatness is born. Pain is the price. Discipline is the path. And victory belongs to those who pay both without hesitation. The world only respects results, not effort or excuses. That's the brutal truth most people don't want to accept. You can work hard, you can try your best, you can talk all day about what you're going to do. But if you don't deliver results, nobody cares. The world doesn't clap for potential. It claps for performance. You can't expect respect for dreams that never became reality. Life doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. You can tell people how much you've suffered, how much you've sacrificed, how hard you've tried. But if there's no outcome, your words mean nothing. Harsh, maybe, but that's reality. The scoreboard doesn't care about your story. It only shows who won. And in the end, that's all the world remembers. The winners, the producers, the finishers. Everyone loves to say, I worked so hard, but effort without results is just noise. You can't confuse activity with progress. Some people stay busy all day but achieve nothing. They mistake movement for growth, talking for doing, trying for winning. The truth is, nobody gets remembered for what they almost did. You either make it happen or you don't. The world doesn't owe you recognition for trying. It only respects those who finish the job. You think history remembers how many times Thomas Edison failed? No, it remembers the one time he succeeded. Results erase excuses. When you win, people forget your mistakes. When you lose, people forget your effort. That's why results matter more than feelings, more than effort, more than anything else. Excuses are the comfort food of failure. They make you feel better temporarily, but they don't change your reality. You can blame time, luck, people, or circumstances, but every excuse keeps you trapped in the same place. Winners don't waste time explaining why they failed. They focus on finding a way to win. Because at the end of the day, excuses don't build empires. Effort doesn't build legacy. Results do. The world is driven by outcomes. The man who gets results gets respect, resources, and recognition. The man who only tries gets forgotten. That's why it's dangerous to live with a victim mindset. The moment you justify failure, you stop improving. The moment you start feeling proud just for trying, you stop pushing for more. The truth is, life rewards precision, not promises. You can talk all day about how much potential you have, but potential means nothing if it's never realized. People respect consistency, execution, and impact. They respect the person who says little but delivers much. They respect the one who finishes what he starts, no matter how long it takes. You'll never be respected for the work you almost did, the dreams you almost chased, or the goals you almost achieved. Almost is another word for failure. The world is full of people who almost made it and nobody remembers them. But the one who did, the one who pushed through, the one who turned vision into results, that's the person everyone talks about. You have to stop expecting people to understand how hard your journey is. Nobody cares about the process if the product isn't there. Pain, effort, and struggle are invisible without success. When you win, your pain becomes your story. When you lose, it becomes your excuse. That's why the real ones focus on producing results no matter the situation. They don't wait for perfect conditions, they create them. They don't talk about what they could do, they show it. Because in this world, respect isn't given, it's earned through proof. You don't get credit for trying, you get credit for delivering. Results are not just about success, they are about credibility. Every result you produce builds trust in your ability. It shows that you don't just talk, you act. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. Anyone can talk about goals, but very few can back their words with achievements. Every time you produce a result, you build momentum, power, and confidence. You stop seeking validation because you have proof. You stop needing approval because you know you can deliver. That's what makes you unstoppable, when your actions speak louder than your explanations. Effort is private, results are public. You can spend years working in silence, and people will call you lazy. But the moment your results appear, they'll call you gifted. That's why you must stop looking for recognition in the middle of the process. Nobody will see your grind until it pays off, and that's okay. Keep your head down. Keep producing. Let your results make the noise. When you finally win, you won't need to explain yourself. The success will speak for you. You have to train your mind to become result-oriented. Every day, ask yourself, what am I producing? What am I building? What am I moving forward? Because if you're not creating tangible progress, you're just spinning in circles. Winners measure success by outcomes, not opinions. They don't care how long it takes or how hard it gets. They care about finishing. You can spend a lifetime telling yourself that effort counts, but deep down, you know it doesn't. Not if there's nothing to show for it. The world doesn't value potential, it values proof. The reason most people settle for average is because results require accountability. When you aim for results, you can't hide behind words. The outcome exposes your truth. It shows whether your effort was focused or wasted. That's why winners embrace accountability. They want the truth. They want to see what works, fix what doesn't, and get better. Losers hide behind excuses because excuses protect their ego, but ego kills progress. The moment you stop making excuses and start owning your results, everything changes. You take control. You stop being a victim and start being a creator. When you chase results, your mindset shifts. You start valuing time differently. You stop wasting it on people or things that don't move you closer to your goal. You start setting standards, not wishes. You stop hoping and start executing. You stop saying someday and start saying now. That's the difference between those who win and those who wish. Results are not magic. They're built through relentless focus, discipline, and refusal to quit. So understand this: the world owes you nothing for trying. Effort doesn't pay bills. Excuses don't build dreams. Results do. The world doesn't care how tired you are, how unfair it's been, or how much you've struggled. It only sees what you've done. That's the truth that separates winners from everyone else. The moment you accept that, you'll stop seeking sympathy and start seeking solutions. You'll stop talking about effort and start demanding results from yourself. You want respect? Earn it. You want success? Prove it. Don't tell the world what you can do. Show it. Because when you win, everything changes. The same people who doubted you will start asking how you did it. The same world that ignored you will start celebrating you. But that only happens when you stop explaining and start executing. The world only respects results, not effort or excuses. So get up, get focused, and make your success impossible to ignore. Emotional control fuels consistency. Never react, always respond. The difference between people who rise and those who crumble is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It's emotional discipline. The ability to stay calm when everything around you is chaos. The strength to keep your focus when your emotions scream for attention. That's the true mark of strength. Most people are slaves to how they feel. If they're motivated, they work hard. If they're tired, they quit. If they're angry, they react. But the person who controls emotion controls outcome. Because emotions are temporary, but consequences are permanent. You can destroy years of progress in seconds if you let emotion make your decisions. Every argument you regret, every opportunity you lost, every bridge you burned, it all came from reaction, not response. When you react, you give your power away. You hand control of your life to situations, to people, to your feelings. But when you respond, you move with awareness and strength. You become untouchable. Emotional control doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you don't let feelings dictate your actions. It's the ability to feel anger but not act on it, to feel fear but move forward anyway, to feel pain but still stay consistent. Because consistency is impossible without control. You can't build discipline on emotional instability. If your actions depend on your mood, you'll never be reliable, never achieve mastery, never win long term. The world respects the one who stays steady under pressure, the one who doesn't break when others fold. Emotional control is not about suppression, it's about transformation. It's taking all that energy from anger, sadness, or fear and channeling it into purpose. Use the emotion as fuel, not as fire. Most people waste their energy reacting to problems instead of solving them. They explode, complain, blame, and get lost in chaos. The powerful individual takes that same emotion and uses it as a signal to grow, to adjust, to move smarter. When you stop reacting, you start seeing. You see opportunities hidden inside obstacles. You see lessons in pain. You see patterns that emotion used to blind you from. And that awareness gives you power. Power over yourself, over your circumstances, over your destiny. Every great leader, every champion, every success story you admire has mastered emotional control. Because when emotions rise, logic disappears. When you let anger lead, you make decisions that cost you peace. When you let fear dominate, you never take the risks needed to grow. When you let sadness consume you, you stop moving. The key to winning in life is to act from intention, not emotion. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. That control is where your freedom lies. The calm mind always wins because it sees clearly while everyone else is blinded by impulse. Think about how many times emotion has robbed you. How many times you said things you didn't mean, quit when things got tough, or made choices out of frustration instead of reason. Every time you react without thinking, you create a mess you later have to clean up. But when you master your emotions, you start controlling time. You pause before responding. You think before speaking. You choose direction instead of drifting. That pause, those few seconds between emotion and reaction, is where your power lies. That's the space that separates the weak from the strong, the impulsive from the intelligent, the average from the elite. Consistency, the foundation of all success, depends on emotional control. Anyone can perform well when life feels easy, but true consistency is proven in the storm. It's waking up and working even when you're exhausted, showing up when you're not inspired, doing what needs to be done despite how you feel. That's emotional mastery, because your emotions are not the truth. They're signals, fleeting waves that pass. You can't let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. If you let your emotions lead, they will lead you in circles. But when you stay grounded, steady, and focused, progress becomes inevitable. The world is full of people who let emotion run their lives. They start strong, then vanish the moment things get hard. They love something one week, hate it the next. They chase motivation, not discipline. But motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Discipline is logical. It stays regardless of mood. The man who controls his emotions doesn't need motivation. He has consistency. He doesn't need hype. He has habits. He doesn't need to feel ready. He moves anyway. That's the power of response over reaction. To never react means to never let external forces decide your internal state. People will provoke you, test you, try to drag you into chaos. They'll insult, mock, and misunderstand you. But when you respond with control instead of reaction, you disarm them. You remain in charge of your peace. The calm person always has the advantage because control unsettles the emotional. They expect you to lose composure, and when you don't, you win without even fighting. Silence can be more powerful than anger. Patience can destroy your enemies faster than revenge. Responding with clarity instead of rage turns every confrontation into an opportunity for dominance and growth. Emotional control also builds respect. People trust those who stay calm under pressure. They know you won't panic, lash out, or crumble. In business, in relationships, in leadership, control is power. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who can keep a clear head while everyone else loses theirs. That's the person who sees clearly, thinks strategically, and acts effectively. If you can stay composed when life throws chaos your way, you're already ahead of most. But emotional control isn't built overnight. It's forged in the moments when you want to explode but don't, when you want to give up but keep going, when you want to react but choose silence instead. Every time you master yourself in those moments, you grow stronger. You train your nervous system to stay calm in chaos. You develop mental armor. And that armor is what keeps you consistent through pain, rejection, failure, and criticism. Because emotions will always come, but they don't have to control you. Emotional control doesn't make you cold. It makes you powerful. It's not about killing your feelings. It's about commanding them. It's about using emotion as a tool, not a trap. The fire inside you should warm your purpose, not burn your progress. So learn to breathe before you respond. Learn to pause before you speak. Learn to think before you move. Because when you can control yourself, no one else can. The world belongs to those who remain calm when others lose control. The one who masters emotion masters destiny. Never react, always respond. Reactions are impulsive and weak. Responses are deliberate and wise. The emotional man destroys what he builds. The controlled man multiplies what he creates. Be calm, not cold. Be firm, not fragile. Be focused, not frantic. That's how you win, by mastering yourself first. Because when your emotions serve your mission, consistency becomes automatic. Success becomes predictable, and peace becomes permanent. Emotional control isn't just strength, it's freedom. And freedom is the ultimate victory. Make winning your identity, not your goal. Most people chase winning like it's a destination, something they'll reach someday if everything goes right. But true winners don't chase victory. They live it. Winning isn't something they do occasionally. It's who they are every single day. They don't turn it on and off depending on the situation. It's wired into their mindset, their habits, their choices, their discipline. When you make winning your identity, everything you do reflects that belief. You don't need to be motivated. You move naturally toward excellence because it's your standard. Winning stops being a goal you hope for and becomes your default mode of operation. It's not about trying to win. It's about refusing to lose. The problem with treating winning as a goal is that goals end. You achieve them and then what? You relax, you slow down, you lose hunger. That's why people who treat success as an event always fall back. But when winning becomes your identity, there's no finish line. You don't stop when you reach a target. You evolve, you expand, you redefine what's possible. You never arrive because you're always becoming. Winning becomes the air you breathe, the standard you refuse to drop no matter what. It's not about competition anymore. It's about becoming the best version of yourself every single day, in every single thing you do. When winning is your identity, it changes the way you think, speak, and act. You don't tolerate mediocrity. You don't make excuses. You don't look for shortcuts. Everything you touch, you give your best to, not because someone's watching, but because it's who you are. Winners hold themselves to a standard that others can't even comprehend. They expect excellence from themselves in every area: work, health, relationships, mindset, because that's the only way they know how to live. They don't wake up and ask, "Can I do it?" They wake up and say, "This is what I do." Making winning your identity means removing the option of failure from your mind. Not that you'll never fail, everyone does, but you'll never stay there. Failure becomes feedback, not defeat. You might fall, but you'll rise faster each time, because your identity doesn't allow you to quit. The difference between someone who occasionally wins and someone who always wins is internal. The first one tries to win, the second one can't accept losing. When losing feels unnatural to you, when mediocrity makes you uncomfortable, when average feels like a cage, you're on the right path. That discomfort is your identity demanding more from you. This mindset requires absolute accountability. When winning is who you are, you take responsibility for everything. No blaming others, no complaining, no waiting for luck. Winners own their results, good or bad, because they know ownership equals control. You can't change what you won't take responsibility for. That's why losers stay stuck. They always find someone else to blame. Winners, on the other hand, look in the mirror and ask, "What can I do better?" They don't run from reality. They study it, learn from it, and use it. That constant self-awareness keeps them improving when others stop. When winning becomes your identity, consistency follows automatically. You don't need motivation to stay disciplined. You simply act in alignment with who you are. Think about it. Do you need motivation to brush your teeth or get dressed? No, because it's part of your identity. That's how winning should feel. You show up, put in the work, and do what's required, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching. Because it's not about external validation. It's about internal integrity. That's what makes the great ones different. They don't need applause to keep going. Their identity fuels them. Most people fail because they build their identity around goals, not standards. They say, "I'll feel successful when I achieve this." But winners say, "I am successful because I give my best daily." That's the difference. One mindset depends on outcomes. The other depends on consistency. When your worth isn't tied to results, but to effort and excellence, you become unstoppable. You stop chasing moments of success and start living a lifestyle of success. You stop celebrating too early and start expecting greatness as normal. Making winning your identity doesn't mean arrogance. It means certainty. It's quiet confidence that no matter what happens, you'll find a way to win. Because winning isn't luck. It's a habit built from discipline, preparation, and resilience. You can lose a deal, lose a job, or lose a match, but you'll never lose the mindset. And as long as you keep that mindset, success will always find its way back to you. True winners don't panic when they fall. They reset, refocus, and rise stronger. Their identity doesn't change based on outcomes. They can fail 10 times, and it won't break them because they don't see themselves as people who fail. They see themselves as winners learning the next move. When you make winning your identity, it reshapes your circle. You stop surrounding yourself with people who settle, complain, or coast through life. You naturally gravitate toward those who challenge you, push you, and expect greatness from you. You stop tolerating negativity, laziness, and mediocrity because they don't align with who you are. Every environment you choose either strengthens or weakens your identity. Protect your standards. Protect your energy. You can't think like a champion while living among comfort seekers. Winners don't chase balance, they chase alignment. They align everything, habits, thoughts, actions, with the image of who they want to be. That's how identity works. Once you see yourself as someone who wins, your behavior starts to match that belief. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You stop saying, "I can't." You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop living like an amateur. Because every time you act in alignment with a winning identity, you reinforce it. Every win, no matter how small, strengthens that self-image until it becomes unshakable. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's built through repetition, pain, and relentless self-discipline. You have to rewire your thinking, destroy your old patterns, and rebuild yourself from the ground up. But once you do, once winning becomes part of your DNA, life changes. You stop seeking external motivation and start living with internal fire. You stop being tossed around by emotions and start moving with direction. You no longer chase goals, you attract them because your actions and energy are aligned with success. Making winning your identity means you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You prove yourself to yourself. Every day. It's about living like a professional in everything you do. Whether it's work, health, mindset, or relationships, you bring excellence to the table. Because you understand that how you do one thing is how you do everything. You don't aim to win sometimes, you win always because that's who you are. So stop waiting for a big victory to call yourself a winner. Start living like one now. Wake up earlier, train harder, work smarter, speak with confidence, move with purpose, expect excellence. Don't let setbacks define you, let them remind you. You were built to win, not occasionally, not once, but continuously. Because when winning becomes your identity, success isn't something you chase. It's something you embody. And once you embody it, no one can take it from you.